Okay, so let's start. So here we have broken city, 4 defects. So what does that mean? So accessing the truth beyond 4 defects. So if you want to climb up or somewhere, it has to be very stable and solid. So the art of learning, process of acquiring knowledge. Okay. So these are the topics we're going to discuss today. 6 blind men and 1 wise man story. 3 ways of gaining knowledge, 4 defects that lead to imperfect knowledge. The Vedas are giving us perfect knowledge and seeing the world through Vedas. So I'll be a little faster as much as possible, as I said, I try to compress the time. So that's a very instructive story, pointing out to defective senses and conclusion that one may gain through those defective senses. So let's say I try to, just for sake of understanding, the story is about 6 blind men who try to understand what is the elephant, because they never had an experience of an elephant. So then when they were brought in front of the elephant, they were all touching different parts of the elephant, and they came to different conclusions just by sense of touch. You know, what one touched the trunk, thought it's like a snake. You know, the other one touched the tail, it's like some kind of rope. You know, then someone touched the ear, or it's just like maybe some axe or a fan or something. And one touched the belly, it's like a wall. You know, another one, tusks, he thought, oh, this is maybe, you know, it's like some sharp object, arrow or whatever. And another one, you know, touched the legs, he thought it's just like a tree trunk. So they had different ideas about what elephant could be. You know. So, but can they really understand what an elephant is just by one particular sense? It's very difficult. So there came by another man, you know, and then he instructed them. He said, no, the elephant is like this, and like this, of course. Because he had a full, complete perception of it. So 3 ways of gaining knowledge. One, it's called Pratyaksha Praman, means evidence, Pratyaksha, direct. Then Anuman, Anuman means hypothesis, theory. And then last one, it's Shabda, Shabda Praman. So that we will discuss. It's a very common experience. When you look at the end of the railway tracks, what is the perception? What happens with the tracks? They join, no? Do they? Yes. Okay. Yeah. They don't, but our eyes are misleading us. They don't, our eyes are misleading us. What about this? This is old age example from physics. You put a stick in, looks bent. No, what is it? It's not bent. Or mirage. How often, you know, we see here in India, it's very hot in summer, you know, you see mirage, you think there's water on the road or something. And you have some different types of mirrors, give completely different perceptions. That's like funny. People get very obsessed with their bodies when they're especially exposed. Sometimes, you know, there was one boy who was thinking, you know, really too fat, you know, it was too much, you know, but it turned out the mirror was a little bit more, you know, it was like more stretched. So people get into so many different complexities. You don't even perceive immediately. So we cannot acquire complete knowledge using our material senses like eyes, ears, etc. So you can't get complete knowledge by sense perception. So information and theories in science are changed, updated and modified due to humans possessing 4 defects. So of course they try to understand what is an atom. You know, so there's so many different kind of theories that have come up trying to explain it. And even today they can't perfectly explain it. It's unending. It's unending. Because it's so difficult to understand something that it's not. It's not this, it's not this, it's not that. You can endlessly search for what it is. What it is. That's what we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about descending and ascending knowledge. Empirical knowledge and descending knowledge. So you see, imperfect senses. So that's one of the defects, imperfect senses. Then to be illusioned, like we gave that example of railway tracks, to be illusioned. Then tendency to commit mistakes. To err is human. Everybody makes some kind of mistake. And then cheating propensity. That's always there, either on purpose or by not having complete information. There's a cheating propensity. We pass the information which is not correct. Okay. So imperfect senses. Our eyes are blind outside of the range of 400 to 700 millimicrons. So it's amazing. We think we are very, our body. Of course, it's amazing. It's very sophisticated, but look at how little actually we can perceive. How little. We're so proud of our eyes, our sight. But how little can we perceive? And then, of course, our ears are deaf outside range of 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz. Like bats, you see them at night, now they come out. All this frequency. Dolphins are pretty good. Whales, dogs can have they have some dog whistle. You don't hear that, but the dog can hear it. See, infrasounds and ultrasounds. Even cats and dogs are better than I see. They can hear much more. So since scientists' senses have limitations, they try to use instruments to get more knowledge of the world. So, we'll come up with some good instruments and then they'll have better perception. But it's very interesting. Eugene Wigner points out, he says, even if we photograph stars, eventually we have to take in by our senses what a photo shows. Furthermore, without our senses, we cannot handle a camera. Even if we amplify, refine by instruments the knowledge, it's no better than our imperfect senses. It always remains imperfect. Or somebody will interpret it in a different way. So the tongue, when you have orange after sugar, it tastes sour. Orange, it doesn't taste so sour when you taste it first, but if you take sweet, something's very sweet first, then it appears sour. But then if you take orange after lemon, yeah, definitely, then it will be tasting very sweet. And then skin, of course. Water touched with warm hand appears cool, then the water touched with cool hands appears warm. So different sensations are there. Okay, so we can identify, we have a little interactive game now. Each picture has at least two ways to see it, depending on what you choose to discard. Use your creativity and identify the two different ways of perceiving each of the pictures. So, okay, let's see what do we infer from it. A very interesting optical illusion. They're called optical illusions. Pictures, photographies, paintings. Huh? You can see many things in it? Okay. That sounds also good. Okay. What about this? Is it static or it's moving? Moving. Okay. You can go backward and forward. Try to do this. Huh? What happens? Are these fellows same or different, of different size? Yeah, because it's written. Okay. It's also same thing. You can focus on the dot and move backward and forward. There'll be some sensation of rotation. That's a pretty good one. Really have to be careful. That reminds me, in Mahabharata, there was a story, you all know, maybe you don't know, but there's a story of Duryodhana visiting Indraprastha.
Yes.
And then he was so confused what's going on in this amazing outworldly palace. Such an amazing palace, because it was operated by yakshas. Yakshas are more finer, subtle beings than humans. They're kind of in category of upadevatas. And then just by desiring that they can understand your desire, they can manifest staircase, they can remove, like withdraw the staircase, they can do all kinds of things, that you don't understand what's going on, whether something is a wall or there is no wall, or there is a pond or there is no pond. It was very difficult to understand. So Duryodhana was so confused, First he thought there is a door, that there wasn't a door, he bumped into the wall, and then, so many things. And at some point Draupadi couldn't contain herself, when Duryodhana first he thought there is a water, but there wasn't. And then second time he was so confident there was water, but he thought it wasn't. Then he entered into the pool and just completely drowned himself, it's like, so Draupadi started laughing and Duryodhana couldn't handle it. So it was like that. There was a lot of optical illusions in that palace. So anyway, that's where Duryodhana, he got very, there's so many bad things started happening, became very envious. That's an also interesting one. Anyway, I keep it for a few more moments. You don't see, but there's a lot of things also going on in the background. Some other faces and things. Maybe it's too far for you. Okay, that's also an interesting one. It's a pretty good. Okay, anyway, this we'll discuss in some other presentation. So, there were some wildly incorrect accounts in research also. Scientists also, they made the mistakes. Brain was thought of as an organ to cool the blood. Master glands were considered a vestige or useless tissues in human body. Value of Hubble constant, used as a cosmic yardstick, has been changed 3 times. So the constant on variable. So small mistakes can lead to large disasters. So then, 4th defect, it's cheating propensity. Okay, so there is a lot of data that has been manipulated. So it may have been like this, or perhaps it was like that. There's a lot of speculation that's involved. So Darwin himself said, "I'm a firm believer that without speculation there is no good and original observation." But this is speculation means you're not certain. So yes, you can observe something, but you can keep on speculating eternally without understanding what it really is. So after 5 years work, I allowed myself to speculate. That's a good one. After 5 years of work, I allowed myself to speculate on the subject and drew up some short notes. This I enlarged in 1844 into a sketch of the conclusions. I mean, you're speculating and then you're concluding something. And then it seemed to me probable. Yeah, it seemed to you, but it's not obviously there. So see what he says. In North America, the black bear was seen swimming for hours with wide open mouth, thus catching like a whale insects in water. Even in so extreme a case as this, if the supply of insects were constant, wherever there has been constant supply of insects, that's another speculation. And if better adapted competitors did not already exist, that's another. Then you have to have this, requirement fulfilled. If better adapted competitors did not already exist in the country, I can see no difficulty in a race of bears by natural selection, more and more aquatic in their structure and habits, with larger and larger mouths, till the creature was produced as monstrous as a whale. So it's a really wild speculation. It's really wild speculation. So watch out next time you go for swimming. You may come out at something else. So this is what he's saying, actually. That's what he's saying. Okay. So, human beings and apes simultaneously existed millions of years ago. But so they say the man came from monkeys. That means we're all monkeys. So Srila Prabhupada said, maybe your forefathers, but not mine. So science means observation, theory, and experiment. No, it's not just you just make a theory, okay, just make first two or something. No, there has to be an experiment. Prove it, Baba. Yeah. You want to call it science, then prove it. Yeah. So it's not human evolution, it's human devolution. Evolution means something that it's degrading. Actually, this is very interesting thing. Maybe we'll spend a few seconds here. This is what the Vedas are saying. See, our whole modern education, it's trying to present to us that we are evolving. We are becoming, like more and more sophisticated, more and more advanced, more and more perfected. But the Vedic culture and philosophy is teaching us, actually it's the other way around. Manda sumanda manda bhatayo manda upadrutaha. That in the previous ages, people were far more intelligent, capable, stronger, higher, lived the longer lives. Everything was way better than what is it nowadays. And it's going to get worse. This is what the Vedas are saying. No, but modern science is presenting to us something completely different. But we don't see it. We don't see it. Yeah. Even in so many other scriptures, it is said that people lived much longer, that they lived, thousands of years. What is our duration of life? So much less, What is the height of the people? That's also decreasing. What are the qualities of the people? That's also decreasing. Everything is decreasing. So it's just the other way around. And we see that is a perfection. There's enough evidence to point to that as well. So it's a devolution that's going on. It's not evolution actually. Okay. Of course, till the next Satya Yuga comes. Then again evolution will start. That's another thing. So Maxwell is regarded by most modern physicists as the scientist of the 19th century. He said, no theory of evolution can be formed to account for the similarity of molecules. For evolution necessarily implies continuous change. We don't see that going on. The exact quality of each molecule to all others of the same kind gives it the essential character of a manufactured article and precludes the idea of its being external and self-existent. So I wasn't so certain about this theory of evolution. And then life comes from the chemicals. So then there was a challenge. Some scientists were asked, then okay, if you claim that life comes from the chemicals, then you have such a sophisticated laboratories, take any amount of chemicals, combine them in any ways you want, create a life. Create a life. Did anyone do it so far? No one. Zero. It's impossible. So then how come life comes from chemicals? And we have just completely different other observation. We see that lemon tree or any other citric tree can produce so many chemicals. No? Look at your nails. Are nails life or death? Huh? What do you think? Huh? Life? Life or death? Huh? What do you think? Who says life? Okay, so then when you cut it, what happens? Or even now, you can do like this. Do the nails pain? No. You essentially don't. What it pains beneath the nail. That's why you feel it. Not the nail itself. Nail essentially is dead, especially when you cut it. But even now, let's say now, it's dead. So where is that matter coming from? It's coming from a live body. So, yes.
I have a question.
Yeah.
In earlier times, people lived long.
Yes.
10,000 years.
Yes, they live even up to 1 lakh years. In Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga 10,000 years, Dvapara Yuga 1,000 years, and Kali Yuga it's about 100.
And the point of being alive for
Yeah, but their experience, it's also like your experience. Time is relative. So their 1,000 years, it's like your 100 years experience. So experience is the same. Only the measurable time is different.
And the quality of life journey is.
Quality was greater. Quality was greater. Brahma also lives for 100 years. But Brahma's 100 years, it's our 311 trillion years. Okay. It's theory of relativity. It's also mentioned in the Shastras. So many stories. We hear stories of kings going to visit Brahma. When they come back, yugas have passed. Okay, anyway. Cloning. What does that mean? They already are taking a living cell. So it's not creation, it's manipulation. You know? And then, of course, they say in the future, when in the future. And then cloning, you know, there was one sheep called Dolly. She was so sick, she died very soon. There was like so many complications happened. Because they manipulated so much all whatever kinds of egg cells. Yeah, so in the future, mostly that's what, you know, we hear of. So that's like post-dated check. I just, well, there's one boy who just left his job because his boss was not paying him for months. So, and you hear of such kind of cases. I was also down south. There was also one family. I said one man. He was not getting salary for a long time. So, would you work for someone without being paid? No, they tell you, you keep on working, and I'll pay you. You know. What is this? 1st January 3006 or something. 5. No sane person would ever accept any proposal as such. Okay. So, you all know the story of Dr. Frog? Who knows the story of Dr. Frog? One person. Really? You don't know the story of Dr. Frog? It's a famous story. Okay, we'll tell it fast and brief. So there was one Dr. Frog. He was PhD, that's why he was Dr. Frog. He had a PhD in frogology or something. So, I mean, the frogs do get in the university. They do get in the university, but unfortunately what they do with the frogs in medical universities, that's not to be mentioned. Anyway, so there was one Dr. Frog, and you know, here in our Juhu land, we have 3 wells. One got closed for some reason, but we still have 2 wells. One behind the ashram and one is here, northeast, which is very good position for the water to be according to Vastu. So 2 wells. So, so this Dr. Frog is going to come. Yeah, he was living in one of those. One of our this well, and then he had a friend. He had a friend. So they kept on discussing about various subjects and topics like this. They were discussing. So then one day the friend of the Dr. Frog, he said, he was a very adventurous young fellow, and he said, I want to go and explore the world. I'm going to see what is the world like. And then Dr. Frog said, yes, go young man, just go and experience a little bit. See what is the world like. And then this fellow went and he started jumping, then he crossed the road here, went to the Mukteshwar Mandir, and then went forward. It took him some time. Then he jumped a little bit in this, there is one little well, there's another little temple there, there are turtles, I don't know if you have seen, there are turtles there. So then after that he went, keep on jumping. So he came to the beach, Juhu beach. And he was amazed. He said, wow, what is this? Well, what kind of well is this, no? He said, it's a big well. And then he found out it's an ocean. And he was like very thrilled. He was like very excited. And then slowly, then became tired. And, after so many months of journeying and, just weeks, whatever it took, he came back to Dr. Frog. And then he said, oh, my dear Dr. Frog, I've seen the world. I said, wow, what is this? What is this? I'm very excited now. Please tell me, what was your experience? Where did you go? And then his friend said, oh, I saw, I saw the ocean. And then Dr. Frog said, what is ocean? I said, it's a big well. It's a big well. And then Dr. Frog tried and said, how big it is? It's like, it's like, and he was trying. Is it big like this? It's like 3 feet bigger. No, it's not like 3 feet bigger. It's like, is it 7 feet? Is it how big it is? No, it's so much bigger. Wait a second. Dr. Frog disappeared. Okay. So, so how big it is? How big it is? And then he started puffing and puffing. Is it big like this? How can a frog? I mean, not a frog, but anyway. How can Dr. Frog understand from his small well? How can he understand what is the ocean? Can he understand? You have a little well here, and you're comparing this to an ocean. There's no way. There's no way he can understand. So that's our position. How do we understand what is this universe? How can we understand? This is one of so many. We don't even know the number of how many universes are there. So how can we understand the creation? So that's called Dr. Frog philosophy. When from a very limited position, you try to understand something which is beyond your perception. You can't understand. You just can't understand. Okay, so logic based on imperfect senses. So we try to understand. Let's say you hear a sound of a peacock now. How's peacock going? It's like, and then what would you think? Any ideas? What would you think? You hear sound of the peacock. What would you think?
Peacock.
Huh? Peacock what?
It's going to rain.
No, let's say you're here. It's going to rain. That's nice. Yeah, but I saw peacocks in the train I was going, but they were not making sound. Anyways. But it was raining like anything. I mean, it's down south. There's a second cyclone coming or something. Second rainy season. Let's say you're sitting here and now you see a sound of the peacock. What would you think? Where is the sound coming from? Yes. No, not you. You can tell me later. Anybody else? Okay, nice, follow.
From peacock.
Huh?
From peacock.
Which peacock? You would think we have a peacock in garden. Like we had this Hathi garden, The Hathi garden is because we had elephant before. In the 80s there was elephant here. Anyway. So you would think there is a peacock. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes, okay. So he thinks that maybe there is peacock here, maybe, but we don't have peacocks, so your conclusion is wrong. We don't have peacocks. Any other thought?
Peacock dancing.
Peacock dancing. But where is the peacock coming from? Where is the sound coming from? What else? Yes.
Maybe someone is doing mimicry.
You said something else before I asked this. You're excluded. Suspended now. Any other thoughts? What about somebody maybe has some loud mobile ringing tone? No? What about that? Can that happen? It can happen. You hear, some loud ringing tone and it's peacock sound. No? It can also be the case. Anyway, the point is you can speculate, but how will you find out? How will you know? Unless you really catch the sound and somebody is making the sound, then you can confirm. But if you don't have direct access to the sound, source of the sound, you can never find out. You can just speculate about it. You just speculate. So that so they can be like, yes, somebody can make a sound. Somebody can just play around. It can be anything. So you don't know. You can't. That's hypothesis. That's anumana. You can't figure it out. You cannot be so certain. Okay, so what is the problem with making mistakes in research? So of course we know the plastic bottles, they turn poisonous if you keep on reusing them. To be careful. I always remember, I know more than 10 years ago, there was an article in newspapers here locally, one girl, she died. She was using over and over the same bottle. She died of poisoning. The plastic melted and they said that's the cause of her death. Pretty heavy. Mobile too close to ears has proved to be hazardous. Okay, so many different things. Yes. So this is also fun. I mean, this is not funny, but it's funny how people were foolish, you know. That was in Europe in the Middle Ages. Bubonic plague, it's deadly disease. It's very contagious disease. It's like spreading like wildfire. You know, it's like it's very heavy. It's deadly. It's really horrible. So people that time they claimed that the cats were the cause of it. So they killed pretty much so many cats, you know. It kills almost all the cats. And then what happened? Then they realized that the rats are the real cause of it, right? That's not funny. It's not funny, you know. You'll see, I don't know. So there were too many rats and no cats to eat. And now you see it was spreading all over. I don't know. Almost half population was wiped out. It's that bad. It's hellish. Anyway. Okay. So half knowledge is a dangerous thing. Because many times people, they become overconfident and then they start doing something and then just make a bigger mess than what there was. So we have to be very, very cautious about this. Half knowledge. And then of course this is very alarming. Biodiversity crisis. I see it over and over now. This dog is this type of dog is threatened to become extinct or this and that or so many things. So due to human-caused habitat destruction and climate change, listen to this, 900 species are extinct. 900 this is not 900 animals or birds or something. Species. That means that they don't exist anymore. And who is the cause? It's a man. The man's the cause. And then look at it. Almost 17,000 are listed as threatened. But what we are doing to this planet? You know, like there was one story. One man wrote a book. That there was only one man and one rat that lived afterwards. Together. Anyway, the book is about some elixir of life, you know. None of them could die. And then the man took a hammer and smashed the rat. He got so, but the rat couldn't die. Anyway, it's a ridiculous story. So it's like they lived together, they were forced to live together. So what will happen to us, you know? Women will live with. Even we won't live, you know, if we start acting like this. Destroying the planet. Okay, the solution for one problem becomes another bigger problem. That's the point when we don't use the information, the knowledge, like I was talking about Bhagavad Gita. We don't use the manual, you know. That example is also going to come. We don't act appropriately. Yeah. So anyway, there's so many. You can think about how many so-called solutions created so many greater troubles and problems in life. So that's again, so half knowledge is not good enough. I just there was a news some few weeks ago that Australian government publicly apologized for, I forget the name, there's one particular medicine, and that medicine was given to all the pregnant ladies. So for a few years, all the pregnant ladies were using this medicine, and then what happened? All the children, you know, either they get crippled, or physically, mentally affected, or they were dead. They were born still dead. So now, after so many decades, the government has to apologize for, you know, supporting that medicine or whatever it is, this and that. That was a heavy stuff, heavy. So how many things happened like this in life? Yeah. Anyway, so the man thought he can be happy without God only if he has money and comforts. But we can never obtain complete knowledge by pratyaksha or anuman pramana. So we think we can be happy in this world, but without proper information and understanding, it's just not going to happen. So it's dangerous to operate a machine with half knowledge. Similarly, it is dangerous to manipulate the universal cosmic machine without knowing about it from the creator who created it. So we have to learn how to live in this world also. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Sahayage praja srishtva puravacha prajapati. And he said, I've given you this process by which you can be happy even in this world when you follow the process. And we don't follow the process. So where is the question of happiness? So let's see if this is working. Oh, it does. Okay, this is half knowledge now, you'll see. When somebody tries to use a machine or something, doesn't know how to operate, and what will happen. So that's what happens. Okay. So there is the manual that can explain operation of this cosmic machine. Where is it? If we can get it, then we have the key to happiness. Okay, so we'll talk what is that. So 4 defects that keep us in illusion. So first we have imperfect senses. Because of imperfect senses we are in illusion. Like we remember that railway tracks, no? Because of imperfect senses you're in illusion, become bewildered. So due to which then you act and you commit mistakes because you don't have proper understanding, information. That's what follows. And then to hide the mistakes, nobody wants to be an idiot, right? And then you cheat others. Nobody wants to accept it, that one is at fault. Then you cheat others. Cheat yourself, you cheat others. So nobody's free from these 4 defects. So then we talk about now is Shabda Praman. What is Shabda Praman? This is in Bhagavad Gita. Krishna is telling to Arjuna that I've given this knowledge in a disciplic succession. So that knowledge was passed down from one teacher to the disciple, became teacher, then gave it to another disciple. So then how can a child know who his father is? Huh? Anybody has a hand? Huh? What do you think? How can a child find out who is his father?
Parents are the first people the child sees.
Well, might not necessarily happen. Nowadays, sometimes, anyway.
Why people introduce them?
People introduce, okay, yes, but...
By asking his mother.
Asking his mother, yeah. There was one funny once, there was one kid, and one speaker asked the child, do you know who is your father? And then he was like, it was like so, funny things happen. Sometimes even mother is not sure. It's Kali-yuga that happens, unfortunately. Yes, but in general, yes, we would say, Okay, let's go first. If you want to find out by your genes who your father is, that's going to be quite difficult. It's going to be extremely difficult, even approximately. So that's inductive knowledge. That means ascending knowledge. By such kind, trying to figure out from your own perception by some particular method. So it's very simple. That's why you just ask the mother. Basically, that's what should happen. And find out. So that's a deductive knowledge. You deduce. It's descending knowledge. It's very easy. You just ask the authority. So that's for who is the authority. The Vedas are like mother. God is like Supreme Father. Vedas can give us knowledge of God. Not just any general, but very precise and correct knowledge. So that's why. And it's very easy. So the Vedic knowledge applies to everyone at all times in all circumstances, universal, unchangeable. That's why I said it's an absolute knowledge. Vedic knowledge is an absolute knowledge. There are no defects. You can try. You go and do research, do whatever you want, try to find some flaws in it. It's perfect. So therefore we use this analogy of the manual. So when you have any particular gadget or something, the manual comes with it. You follow the manual, you benefit. So if you want to benefit living in this world, then what is the manual? Bhagavad Gita, Vedas, yes, that's the manual. So the Vedic process of learning, it's like, gurus like professors, sampradaya, it's like authorized university, and the Vedic texts are like authorized books. You can't just manufacture, get your own book, or something and then pass the exam or get a degree. No, it has to be authorized. So the Vedic knowledge was revealed by the Supreme Person within the heart of the first created being, Brahma. You say Lord Brahma. That's a very beautiful painting, I see. Vishnu, Shankha, Brahma. So Krishna revealed his knowledge from within the heart. Krishna is there as a Paramatma. It's in everyone's heart, it's in your heart also. So what is Vedic knowledge? There's so many branches. So many. Vyasadeva divided that knowledge for our easier comprehension. So there are Shrutis, Smriti, Puranas, Shrutis, Smritis. There's so many different kind of branches of knowledge that deals with all kinds of things, with science, with social life, with spiritual life, philosophy, so many different kinds of. Veda means knowledge. So what means knowledge? It means knowledge about everything. Knowledge pretty much about everything. But what is also interesting, if you say, okay, it's not about everything. Let's say somebody may challenge, it's not about everything. Yeah, it's not, because only nowadays we have only 6% of the original Vedas left. Only 6%. That we can discuss later on. I can tell you the exact information where and how that happened. And where is it mentioned? Yeah. Only 6%. And plus, on top of everything else, even what knowledge has been revealed to us humans, it's also so much less than what the higher beings have received. That information is also given. But essentially, anyway, knowledge means knowledge of all aspects of existence. So advanced knowledge in the Vedas, so that's also there. But Ayurveda, Vastu means like, like Shilpa Shastra, also Vastu Shastra, about constructions, about, then astronomy, astrology, physics, metallurgy, chemistry, mathematics, geology, music, dance, drama, psychology, sociology, philosophy, linguistic, etiquette, behavior, military art, so many different kinds of things. All these subjects are covered in the Shastra. And then, of course, proof of validity of the scriptures. People didn't know or couldn't understand that cow dung, it's pure. It's completely antiseptic. You go and do any research, you'll find it out. Plants have life. What is that? Jagadish Bose, what is it? Chandra Bose or something? Yeah, he proved it. I mean, I saw also one documentary how plants are also sleeping. Scientists, it was interesting, They figure out that by, I don't know how many, maybe 20 centimeters every night, certain trees, they bend their leaves. You can't perceive that by your eyes. But they also sleep at night. Very interesting. And then again in the morning. Anyway, so many other things, of course, about the plants. Then, about our planet position, whatever, embryology, so many things. There's so many informations before science had invented any instruments or whatever. That this knowledge has been given in the scriptures. And then, of course, predictions of the future. Kali is yet to come. Lord Chaitanya came. Lord Buddha appeared. So many things are given also in advance. Because we already talked, the time is cyclical. It's going to happen. It's already known what will happen. Only different souls will enter different bodies and play the different roles that are to be played. It's all set. The scene is set. It depends who's going to get what kind of karma based on what kind of activity to assume certain role. So, if we can accept axioms in science, then why we can't accept Vedic axioms? So, Vedas are also axiomatic. Imaginary number, uncertainty principle, laws of thermodynamics. There's no science without axioms. Yeah. Okay, so here we have the theorem of incompleteness. That's a very interesting theorem. I'm lying. It's self-contradictory. Since if it's true, I'm not a liar. And if it's false, and it's false, yeah, sorry. And if it's false, I'm a liar, so it is true. Very interesting. Very interesting. How do you resolve this? So based on this, Kurt Gödel, interesting mathematician, was very pious, by the way. He understood the role of Paramatma, inspiration coming from God. So he came up with this theorem of incompleteness. It has two parts. So what it points to, it says that any sufficiently complicated system, there are true statements that cannot be proven. So basic idea is by logic you cannot understand God. God is beyond logic. So science has an incomplete set of axioms which will have question about nature, God, that cannot be answered yes or no. So you can't prove the science as absolute. So faith and reason are not enemies. So the idea is, let's say, look at this projector. I just imagine drawing a circle around the projector. Can that projector explains its own existence by itself? Huh? Yes or no? No. No, you have to go beyond the circle. Beyond that circle of the projector itself. Who assembled it? Where's the material coming from? What's going on? You have to go beyond. So this universe, from within the universe, can you understand the universe itself? No, you cannot. So it's perfect, it works, but you can't prove it. You can't understand it unless you go beyond. What is there beyond? There's always something beyond. So it's axiomatic truth. Yeah? You can't disprove it. So that's why understanding something. We are talking about Vedic knowledge. That if you understand who is your father, induction and deduction. Or let's say better, descending knowledge and ascending knowledge. By ascending knowledge, trying to prove things and understand from your own point of view. It's so complicated. Like here also, inductive reasoning, deductive reasoning. You can read some of this what is given if you can. But the point is with, let's say, the deduction or descending knowledge. It's like a bird's view. You go from top down. You have much better purview, much better understanding than rather when you start from down and then you go up and trying to understand things. It's more difficult. You commit so many mistakes. You come to so many wrong conclusions. And you may get lost. You may completely miss the goal. So it's a big, vast difference. So like you want to find out who is your father. You go and do research. Okay. But it's so much easier. Just ask the authority. Authority has perfect perception already. Yeah. Okay. So that's also, it points out, it's like here, smaller circle or larger circle. You have to make assumptions that you cannot 100% prove. So anyway, there's a lot of things that, as I said, try to keep it concise. It's very, very interesting theory. Basically, the points that the science cannot prove anything practically beyond its own whatever existence of whatever we deal with. So you cannot explain the world by science. You can't fully explain the world by science. You can explain it, but to a certain extent, not fully. Because again, you can't confine God. That's a very interesting point. You can't confine God within you. You cannot say, okay, we'll put him in the box. This is who he is. That's what he is. You can't do it. He's beyond that. He's beyond that. That's why he's God and you're not God, because you're trying to be God. So he proves to you that you can't be a God. Very simple. So anyway, so religion means usually people think it's fate. Science means reason, no? And people have a misconception that they're just diametrically opposite, fate and reason, but that's not the case. Einstein said, science without religion is lame, and religion without science is blind. That's why Vedic knowledge contains both. It's both. You can't just say one or the other. No, they're complementing itself. They're complementing itself. So then how do we understand the validity of the Vedic scriptures? Personal realization by experience, by following the process. So we have to follow the process. Then you'll have personal realization. What is that? Immediate perception, pratyaksha. You can experience freedom from lust, anger, greed, illusion, madness, and envy by practicing this process. That you can immediately experience. It's a great freedom to be, relieved from all these horrible urges. So you put this knowledge into practice, you'll get the results. Okay, so what were the points today that we discussed? 3 ways of knowledge. Direct experience, hypothesis, Vedic wisdom, right? So 4 defects that lead to imperfect knowledge, imperfect senses, illusion, mistakes, cheating. Scientific research due to 4 defects has resulted in mistakes leading to disasters. And we keep on discovering better and better imperfect relative truths, not absolute. And 4, Vedic wisdom, Shabda, gives perfect and complete knowledge of absolute truth, which is free from 4 defects. Okay, thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Any questions? I guess better we maybe leave it during Prashada. I'll be here still. So then you can ask after Prashada. And now we'll have drama. We'll have drama and then maybe short kirtan and then Prashada. Okay, Hare Krishna. Okay.